I am going to talk to you guys specifically about grants, both federal, state colleges, university, as well as community colleges. So we can go to the next one. So FAFSA, knowing that FAFSA is the gateway, which means like completing your FAFSA is required to access almost every federal grants and many state grants as well as many institutional grants. Knowing the difference between a gift aid versus a self-help aid, right? Grants and scholarships are gifted aid. You don't pay anything back. However, loans you pay back. And loans and work study are both self-help. The loans you pay back, work study is something that's phenomenal because when you get awarded the work study after you apply for the FAFSA, you're able to work like they'll have a certain dollar amount that they will pay you. You don't need to pay it back, but you work and you can work on campus and you can get paid from that amount of money that they set. So that's one of the greatest things about work study help. Need-based versus merit, which are like some specialty and eligibility. So some grants are based on a financial need. Others are based on the academic merit, demographic, or special criteria. For instance, veterans or STEM majors. There's quite a few STEM grants out, and there's also veteran grants out as well. And remember that deadlines matter. So missing deadlines can disqualify you as a student, even if you qualify for the grant. So just make sure, like Miss Ariana said, pay attention to the deadlines because they do matter. The award amounts depend on the cost of attendance, the unmet need, the available funding, and the prioritization, which means students with the greatest need often get awarded first. We had another one. This is our session 2. So in our session 1, we really hit on applying ASAP. So the grants and scholarships and financial aid, like that's open. But once you get grants and that, the date that is open, apply. Grants vary widely by school. So each college or community college will have its own set of institutional grants. So what that means is sometimes called need-based grants, right? So you want to also make sure, like after you fill out FAFSA, after you know which college you're going to, after you've been accepted, contact that financial aid office because they have special grants for you at that school for that financial aid office. And you can go to the next slide. So some of the grants are Pell Grants, FSEOG, Teach Grants, Iraq and Afghanistan Service Grants. So for instance, the Pell Grant, a lot of you probably already know like what the Pell Grant is, and it's for undergraduate students with a financial need. And you must fill out the FAFSA. Maximum award depends on the cost of attendance and need. And I just put this link in there for you, so feel free to copy that. The Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant is what we call FSEOG, and it's very high need for undergraduates. It's limited funding, so early FAFSA filing helps administered by the colleges. So availability and amount varies, but the biggest thing is apply early. So FAFSA is open. Make sure that you guys are applying. A Teach Grant. The reason why I put this on here is because there's a lot of students that want to go to be a teacher, and there are Teach Grants, right? But knowing that students who commit to teaching in a certain high need fields for a number of years has a service obligation. So if you don't fulfill it, it converts to a loan. So just make sure, like any grants that you receive, and like Miss Ariana said, write the comments. So if you apply for this Teach Grant, you get awarded the Teach Grant, make sure you put the comments down that, okay, I got to make sure I fulfill this obligation because if not, this grant can turn back to a loan. Then we have another grant called the Iraq and Afghanistan Service Grant. So with this grant, for students whose parents and guardians died as a result of a military service in Iraq or Afghanistan, or who are not eligible for a full Pell Grant. So that's where Iraq or Afghanistan grant. I know quite a few individuals when I was going to school, I was awarded that. So yeah, next slide. So you can find current federal grant types and eligibility at the U.S. Department of Education. Let's see, can I copy? So I'll copy this link after I get done talking. I'll copy and just start pasting links so you guys can have this link. Also, the federal work study is often considered part of the federal aid umbrella. Though it's not a grant and it helps students earn money through part-time jobs, it's something wonderful to have. And definitely something if you apply, if you are qualified for FAFSA, if they actually you want to accept the federal work study, say yes, because that's great for the kids, for the students while you're working on campus for a part-time job. Next slide. So we're going to go into the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. So the Michigan Achievement Scholarship is like who's eligible. So the Michigan high school graduates are eligible. Classes 2023 or later. This is one of the latest ones out, who are Michigan residents and enroll full time. And what this does is it helps with tuition costs for Michigan. It helps with public universities for the undergraduate degree, and I'll put that link in there as well. We also have what we call MCS, which is Michigan Competitive Scholarships for students prior to class of 2023 or older. So who met the SAT score requirements. And we also have the Michigan Tuition Grant, which is the MTG, originally for undergraduate Michigan residents attending Michigan nonprofit independent or independent private colleges as well. So next slide. And another grant that's out is the Michigan Reconnect. I have quite a few adults that want to go back to college, and it's specifically for a community college, so GRCC and things like that. So this Michigan Reconnect grant, which are the residents aged 25 and older who want to attend a community college, this provides a large tuition discount or free community colleges in some cases. And this is a more recent grant, and I'll have this link in the chat as well. We also have the Michigan Indian tuition waiver. When we were in college, one of the biggest things is to see, because we do have Indian heritage, to see if we qualify for this Indian tuition waiver. So I wanted to put this in here as an educational source. So for eligible Native American students attending public colleges or university in Michigan, it waives tuition for qualified students. So I'm going to put that hyperlink just in case anyone may think or may want to try to see if they belong to a tribe. Children's of Veterans Tuition Grants. So you have the Children of Veterans Tuition Grants that covers eligible tuition up to the limit, and then I'll put that down. That grant, you do have to reapply every year. Next slide. So we're going to go into directly. I put in some colleges. So MSU is Michigan State University, and MSU offers the Student Aid Grant, which they call a SAG, for undergraduates based on need for Michigan residents. So this is one of the college's specific grants. Then they have the Spartan Tuition Grants, which is a package that combines federal, state, and institutional gift aid to cover up to 18 credits per semester for qualifying in-state students. So that's another in-state, the school grant. Next slide, please. U of M. So U of M has need-based grants as well, and they're awarded based on the FAFSA plus what they call the CSS profile. I'll put that link in there. They also have non-need-based grants, such for specific populations or programs, and those were some of the grants that I talked to you guys about previously. So you can go to the next slide. Wayne State. We have quite a few Wayne State students, individuals that want to go to Wayne State. So Wayne State listed state grants and scholarships program for Michigan residents. So I'm going to have a link in there as well for Wayne State, just in case anyone who's interested, like what does Wayne State offer with grants? And they also have a Wayne State Guarantee Program, offering free tuition for in-state students meeting income thresholds, combining both federal, state, and institutional aid. Next slide. Now, I wanted to put TIP in here because TIP is very important. And with TIP, it's called Tuition Incentive Programs. Now, they will send this to you personally. And it is a state grant that helps low-income students, specifically those who have or had Medicaid coverage for at least 24 months, within the 36-month period before graduating high school or earning your GED. So that's a big caveat, right? If you're earning GED, you're still eligible. It is one of Michigan's most valuable college aid programs because it covers the full cost of tuition and mandatory fees at community colleges and later at public universities. Next slide. So who qualifies for TIP? So one, you got to be a Michigan resident. You must have received Medicaid for at least 24 months within the 36 period. And it's through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, so MDHHS. And most graduates from high school earn a GED before turning 20. So you must apply for the program before high school graduation completion. So just make sure you guys keep in mind of that. And you must complete the FAFSA every year. And then I have the TIP information down here. So I'll put that in the chat as well. So you guys can have the TIP information. And how does TIP works? So many students start at a community college. TIP has two phases, phase one and phase two. So they can start at a community college under phase one and then transfer to a four-year college or institution to use phase two funding. So phase one is Michigan Community Colleges, public universities that offers associate's degree and select career technical schools. It covers tuition and mandatory fees up to 80 semesters or 120 terms and credits, right? Phase two is for a Michigan four-year public college and university. So it provides up to $500 per semester, $2,000 lifetime maximum towards tuition and fees for bachelor's program. And I will highly recommend to double check with TIP if you guys have any questions, because if you went straight off to college, there's a certain criteria that you may be eligible as long as you accepted it before you went to college, accepted TIP, that you can apply for it after a certain credit hours. Next slide. So TIP can be used at all public community colleges, most public universities, and several nonprofit independent institutions that participate in state aid programs. And I've just listed a few. There's more, and I also have the link right there that I'm gonna put for a TIP where you guys can see more colleges. Okay, so yep. So who qualifies? This is just to go over. We talked about it before. Students of the Medicaid, you must apply to high school graduation. You must complete FAFSA. It covers 100% of tuition and mandatory fees at community college for up to 80 semester credits for phase one. Then phase two gives you 2,000 more when transferring to a four-year college. So next slide, please. So the Michigan Achievement Scholarship is for high school graduates class 2023 or later. So who qualifies for it? Michigan high school graduate, attending a Michigan community college or a public university, a Michigan resident, and you completed FAFSA. So I want to encourage everyone, complete your FAFSA ASAP if you have it. It pays up to $22,750 per year for tuition at a Michigan community college. And it can be combined with Pell Grants, with TIP, with institutional grants. It's also renewable for up to 3 years at a community college. So that's going to make sure y'all keep that in the tracker as well as renewable for up to 3 years.